got Bobby Patterson, the rare gas guy.
One bottle of Xenon was $2.5 million.
What?
Just one bottle. Krypton and Xenon are two of my specialties.
Is Superman working against you to stop this operation? Yeah, dude, you're gonna have like a robot in your kitchen, like making you pancakes within like easily 15 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like that's like to me, like 15 years, like making you pancakes easy. Robin Williams, man. Wow.
Yeah, he
miss that guy.
I do. He was he was a benefit to the world.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Good Will Hunting was just a masterpiece.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. Well, welcome to the Wave Function podcast. Today we have a special guest with us. We have a high school throwback. We have Bobby Patterson with us today.
Bobby yeah.
Oh, no one calls you Bobby anymore? You just go by Bob? Okay.
It changes, which is weird, but yeah.
You know, Bob, what I remember is
I like Bobby the best.
Though. Bobby's the best?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember in grade school, really early on, that you sold your soul to Mike Mackin for an ice cream sandwich?
I do.
So you wrote it on a piece of paper, and he ate it. So have you ever reconciled that with Mike?
Or with, whoever owns my soul? I guess it's Mike. I miss Mike.
Yeah, Mackin?
I miss Mike Mackin. I miss Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that crew, for sure. But it was, it's. I remember one of the teachers was like got wind of it.
That you sold your soul for an ice cream sandwich?
Well, it started with me, and then I think in our friend group, it actually became like a thing where like people could actually like get free ice cream out of their friends for selling their souls.
Yeah.
So it turned in this like bigger thing with our friend group where like it was like happening frequently. I think I sold my soul more than once, which I don't know if you could do that or not.
I don't think so. I think there's no overlap.
I ended up with 2 ice creams, though, so I did that. But yeah, so teacher got wind. She thought it was like really bad that I was doing it, and I stopped. And I think I feel the same way now than I did then. That it doesn't matter at all.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
To me, anyway. Maybe it does, and maybe
you've been missing out to like an extreme extent this entire time, and you're just wildly unaware of it.
Potentially. Yeah, potentially. I lost my soul, and now someone else is taken over.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah. So you went to Drexel for chemistry, is that correct?
Chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering. Okay, and you use that today?
I do. Very fortunately.
Bring this just a tad closer, but tell me, you can. This whole thing is like super mobile.
Yeah.
So chemical engineering. What are you doing with chemical engineering today, Bobby?
So what am I doing today? I guess I can take back first to I started at Drexel. Mm-hmm. Things were going well.
Okay.
Until they weren't, and I dropped out.
Yeah.
I think when I saw you at a rave,
and
you looked like you had your shit together, and you saw me, I did not have my shit together at the time. And,
well, we were at a rave, so.
Yeah. Which was cool to see.
That, by the way, that Drexel rave was like really super underground vibe. Like it was in like a warehouse. Do you remember that?
Wait, which one? No, so I'm talking about the one. It was a Mad Decent party.
Mad Decent block party.
Yeah, there was a Mad Decent block party I saw you at.
Yeah,
my fraternity threw a rave for Lesso at the time. Mm-hmm. Just like long ass time ago. But yeah, I guess back to the chemical engineering. Went to Drexel. Things were going pretty well. I was on like pretty good track, Dean's List, Honors College, doing research, doing all this cool shit, and then had the emotional competence of
Well, you sold your soul for an ice cream sandwich early on, and that totally like delayed onset just completely threw you off college wise. But I mean, you got back on your feet and
I should start
graduated and
Yeah. Graduate. Yeah. So I left Drexel. Things didn't work out. Eventually figured it out with Rowan University. Got in there, took a couple classes, and took a couple more, and then I take a semester, and then things, then I didn't have like 10 grand to pay for the next tuition for the year.
Okay.
And then take a year off, save the money, go back, and eventually got the degree, and got my first job, legit chemical engineering, and I've been there for almost 4 years.
Do you follow that YouTube channel like Nile Red? The dude who just like makes like crazy concoctions, like the worst smelling molecule you can make.
No,
really?
No, I do follow a lot of like science YouTubes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely might get on my radar. Veritasium is like a big one.
Okay.
And then there's like, I want to say like smaller, like anything that has to do with like space, physics, and then more recently actually getting more involved with like engineering stuff and like how that all works, because like you learn it in school, and then I actually like start my job and I'm like, oh, I actually don't know fucking anything about engineering, so it's nice to actually like watch the videos and like appreciate different things.
So what exactly are you doing now? Like, is it like real chemical engineering sciencey, like you're mixing potions and shit, titrations and all that nerd stuff? You get to do that?
Yeah, so the company I work for, we make specialty gases. So just think like you can get like a helium cylinder for like your parties and you fill balloons with. So like same kind of like package, but instead of helium, it actually is. Helium's one of the things we do, but we sell a lot of high purity specialty gases, either to
like nitrous.
Yeah. Yeah. I have nitrous in my yard.
Okay.
We have like.
What about like argon, krypton, like things that are like, xenon?
Krypton and xenon are two of my specialties.
Really? You make xenon?
Well, yeah, we distill xenon. So when we breathe it in, in the air, they're rare gases.
Have you ever breathed in xenon?
We breathe it in every breath.
Okay, all right. Have you ever breathed,
like
concentrated?
Yeah. No, I hear it's like an anesthetic.
Yeah, I've heard it's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, well, it's crazy dense, and it's used as some type of anesthetic, I think. But I guess its main use in society is as satellite propellant for.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's like
satellite propellant.
So there's certain satellites that have they have this electropropulsion is what they do. So they take the xenon, totally inert, this really heavy little particle, super heavy, super dense. You pack like 3,000 psi in your little fuel tank, and then you take your satellite, you put it on a rocket, you shoot it up to space, and then once it's up there, it has its xenon, and then you use these like special magnets, and you just charge the xenon to like some weird ionized state. So it's like electrically charged, and then you use magnets, and it's like, oh, it has a little charge, and then these magnets you use to like
aim it
to just like shoot it out.
Oh,
like crazy fast.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with hyperpolarized xenon?
No.
So hyperpolarized xenon's getting really big in like medical imaging, specifically MRI lung imaging.
So
right, so you have to have like an odd. I'm guessing xenon has an odd number of protons, so because it has to have a net magnetic vector that aligns with the magnetic field. Whereas if you have like an even number of protons that you have parallel and anti-parallel, they cancel. So then the xenon, I don't know its atomic number, but I'm guessing it's
131.
There you go. It's odd. Right. And then
that's a molecular weight, but close enough.
Yeah. So basically they hyperpolarize it and they have patients breathe it in and then they image the lungs like right away.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, I mean,
so sweet.
Yeah, I was doing multinuclei imaging in MRI for a little bit, multinuclear spectroscopy. Like I think we talked about spectroscopy in the past, and you might have been like, "That's not what the protons are doing, dude," or whatever.
Oh, I don't know, man. Yeah.
We were like assessing like the classical physics MRI, but I mean, yeah, like it's kind of hard to assess MRI physics classically because There's a lot of weird quantum stuff like superposition, like protons are simultaneously spin up and spin down simultaneously. It's actually the XY phase coherence that matters. And there's like all these weird things that like most MRI people wouldn't even care to get into because it's completely irrelevant to what's happening.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it relevant to what you do or not?
No,
or just
no.
Your selfish little indulgence.
Yeah, I'm in nuclear medicine now, though. I'm not in the MRI world anymore.
What does that mean? Nuclear medicine.
So I sell gamma cameras. So single photon emission CAT scan. So
wait. So what's the gamma ray? What is it made of?
a photon.
It's just a photon.
Super high energy photon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like it's like you get a radioisotope that with a radio tracer put in your body and it emits gamma rays and then the CAT scan portion, right, is like a bone image, right? A lot of people have had CAT scans. So you get the anatomical image and then you get the single photon emission. That's the gamma image. So it's kind of like, here's the anatomical image. Here's the physiology image, right? The cancer or whatever that's uptaking the isotope. And then you superimpose them. But it's different. Yeah, it's wildly different, than MRI. It's like I went from like this expert of experts in MRI to like totally jumping genres. I'm like Machine Gun Kelly going from, hip hop to punk rock.
So what? Why'd you make the jump?
It was just a new opportunity. Yeah, and I think it was good to learn a new modality. Like in the radiology world, like everything functions so differently, especially nuclear medicine, and the people though are amazing. Like just the whole community, like everyone cares so much.
Is it newer?
No, it goes back. I mean, the product I'm selling is like hella new and by enormous margins, the best market on the product or on the market, but it's like a super premium product. Like I can't sell my product like a small hospital. It's got to be like a specialized center, like an education center or like,
So I guess like how many of them are there in the U.S.?
In the U.S., I think there's something like 25, something like that.
So how do you sell them?
Dude, it's a lot
like one every
so
year.
Much, yeah, so much networking and things like that. But, yeah, man, I remember you being like a brainiac in high school. You still got it, or what's up, man? You telling me you're kind of fell off in college, or?
Oh yeah, no. So it was well, I always had the passion for, I guess, like trying to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
With our reality. So I was very much drawn to physics in high school, chemistry in high school, just like why, like gravity, why, chemistry, why, like why are these things happening?
Can you explain gravity?
Yeah.
Gravity is one of the hardest ones to explain.
Well, I guess, I mean, my novice self, I'll do my best, right?
Yeah.
So I guess gravity is, I don't know. It's like, if something has mass, it pulls everything else to it. And
why?
Maybe gravitons? I don't know.
The Higgs field?
The Higgs field has something to do with it. You might know more than me.
Higgs boson? I might.
There's definitely there's definitely like a space-time field that perturbates space, and it doesn't happen instantaneously. So there's something going on there.
But I mean, I think local realism got completely wiped out 2 years ago, that Nobel Physics Prize, basically saying that really, really dumbed down and not quite what they were saying is like reality is not really real till we measure it. And that's like the whole thing with this podcast. It's like it's called the wave function podcast because it's the idea that like things exist as like probabilistic waves and then we measure them and then they collapse their wave function to the finite or the physical.
That's one interpretation of quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
That's the normal interpretation of quantum mechanics.
Yeah. Give me, well, what's the other?
There's a lot of them. There's like, what is there? There's like some type of dualism that I'm not too familiar with. I know the many worlds interpretation.
Many worlds to me is totally real now because of that recent Google AI chip that came out.
So like,
or sorry, it was a quantum chip.
yeah. So so tell me about the new quantum.
Okay.
Chip. Yeah.
So
I read a little bit. Yeah.
The new quantum chip from Google, they like figured out like the best supercomputer in the world that's not a quantum computer would take more time than the universe has existed to like complete this task that they gave it. And they were basically like, well, we believe that our quantum chip is accessing information from the same quantum chip in other dimensions. So like, it's like when you have the ability to be in like superposition or like, simultaneous states, like you can coexist in multiple realities simultaneously. And with that, you can take chips and gather information from the multiverse to complete tasks in a fraction of the time that it would take, to do in your own reality, for like a lifetime. Yeah. And so I'm just like, wait, what? So then I started worrying about it. I'm like, all right, well.
Oh, tell me your worries. Yeah. I might be able to help you.
I'm worried that once these quantum chips can keep their phase coherence long enough, because right now they're dropping off. Basically, like you have all these for the audience, like these what we call qubits. So imagine like a circular wire, right? And that's like 1 qubit, and it can be in 1 and 0 at the same time, which would be like in classical on or off. So it can be on and off hypothetically at the same time.
In that superposition.
And then it has what's called a net magnetic vector. So like there's basically like a single north pole, right? And it's like spinning, and it's basically when all the north poles of every circuit are pointed in the exact same direction with phase, right? Like this. That's phase coherence, and that's where the problems get done. Mm-hmm. But the problem is like as you scale the number of qubits, it's like you're squaring the number of calculations that can be done. The calculations go exponential, and so like what the problem is phase coherence as you increase Hilbert space, which is the collective coherence of all the qubits. Mm-hmm. And so like my thing is like, all right, we get to a point where we can take Hilbert space and get it to not dephase like so quickly like it is now. Like I don't even know what it is. It's like maybe half a second or something, right? And then they keep rerunning it. But like then you're going to have a quantum computer that can access quantum computers in other dimensions. And then there might be a quantum computer in another dimension that is like trying to take shit over on like a multi-universe scale. And like what securities do we have built into the software or structure to basically keep interdimensional entities from manifesting themselves in some way or another in our own dimension through our quantum computer? I feel like we're opening up Pandora's box with very little understanding of like the implications or how to protect ourselves. We're more like concerned with like, can we do it? It's kind of like that Jurassic Park quote where it's like, no one ever stopped to ask like if we should do this. That's how I feel about quantum computing. I'm like, this is like Jurassic Park, but like way worse. Yeah. Like, because then like, what if they could send code over to us that somehow gets into like the worldwide net? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. It's just, it seems like, I think there's just no going back. It's going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen.
It might have already happened and we don't even know. I mean, I think the singularity, which is for the audience, basically the idea that like there comes a point in artificial intelligence that it learns everything that is at such an extraordinary rate. It's like almost like a informational God, so to say. And then when you have a quantum computer like that, can it access like base reality? Because there is the also like
maybe it doesn't even care at that point. It's everywhere.
What? Yeah.
And like, why hasn't some other reality already done this?
It probably has. Ours? It probably has.
And but it hasn't done anything.
Well, it can't interface with us. It can't interface with us in certain ways because I think we need to put things in a superconducted superposition.
Right. So we're gonna get to some but aren't we isn't everything always doing quantum things? Like, what's
yeah,
the difference between the qubit and?
Well, basically, like you have all your atoms just randomly spinning, and there's no congruence in any of the net mag. You know what I mean? Like nothing's aligned. It's just kind of like a jumbled mess, right? And so, could a quantum computer in another dimension affect ours if we tap into the same system?
If you build it, then you would be accessing what? Other realities.
It's like saying like why can't I call why can't I call an alien in another dimension? It's like, well, does the alien have a phone in the other dimension? That's the first thing you have to ask is like, do they have the tech to even interface?
Right. So now you've built this thing that can potentially interact with other universes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be more convincing.
And like, if you have a computer that's really that smart, right? Like, what is stopping it from like accessing the absolute tertiary layer of information to the universe? That being, what if we live in a holographic universe, right? Where there's an actual like informational layer underneath that is like either inaccessible or has like a firewall up, kind of like the Matrix.
Yeah. So so we're the projection. We're living on the holographic layer,
and we can't see the code all around us. But like, seriously, like there's a quantum physics like theory that like that's happening. Like we live in that
holographic principle,
and there's like a 2D like information where it's like explaining everything that's happening right now. And I'm like, could a quantum computer access that?
Maybe.
You know, and then what?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I know at least the things that I do know. At least there are only certain things that, or I guess problems that you can give quantum computers where they are better than than binary computers.
Usually math related or
no. Well, I mean, it's like code breaking they're way better at. There's like certain things that like they have this like I guess like cubed power ratio. So there's there's like a certain like if you just think of like, and this is I guess if you want to learn more about it, there's this guy Scott Aronson. He works somewhere in Texas. He's a professor over there. He just does quantum computing. That's like what he does.
I think we're quantum computers. Our brains.
We might be.
I really do.
Is that like the Richard, or not Richard Feynman? Roger Penrose. Is that the Roger Penrose microtubule?
I have no idea.
Thing?
I just because MRI physics are extremely similar to quantum computer physics, and I was like an MRI expert. So like, I feel like when we have an idea like pop into our head. Like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? Like ideas, like there's like this, like Nikola Tesla used to call it the ether. And it was supposed to be like the fifth state of matter or something like that. And then they wiped it out of the education system. But it's like the idea that like, especially like making music, like musicians will say this all the time. It's just like, like it's not even like they're making the music. It's like they're discovering it. It's like it's already there. And I've had so many ideas just pop into my head. And I feel like it's more about like aligning that frequency. You know what I mean? Like, sure, there's effort, and it's like not like everything's just gonna come to you, but like there are moments where I'm like, it's like our heads are like antennas, and we tune into shit, and like there's so much intuition and things that I feel like there's like this supernatural sixth sense kind of we have, and I think that like if a quantum computer can access interdimensional information. Why not us? Why can't I talk to my another version of me in another like multiverse that like I want advice from? I'm like, oh, like I failed. How
do you find that person?
I think probably through like some extreme meditation.
You think?
Either that, I thought about that a lot recently.
Because there's like, to me, well, I mean, I'm not saying like there could be ways to do it, but it's like. The universe is so humongous big, and there's like, and the multiverse is that humongous big times infinity. So like, how do you find what you want somewhere else? Maybe you're in tune to that already.
Yeah,
through some serious meditation or like certain techniques, you find some frequency that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause this for 2 seconds.
Yeah, go.
All right, so hard cut edit right there. But back to the quantum thing. So like, how could I access someone else or myself quantumly, multidimensionally, right? So like, I've been thinking about it, and I think this would be an amazing product. I've never heard anyone talk about it, but like, I think there's a possibility to have a personalized quantum chip, which doesn't really need a lot of qubits. So it could be like informationally very low. Something that could literally just be binary, yes or no, or like some way like you could, and basically you would take this chip and you would ask it, you would encode it in a way that was unique to you. So you'd have your own personal identifier. And if any other being in the universe made this chip, it'd have to have the exact same personal identifier or like bridge or whatever that like, you're like, all right, if I send this message out, the only thing that's going to answer is me in another dimension. Dude, it's an amazing idea.
It's such a good idea.
Like, I totally think
you shouldn't publish it.
We're going to scrap the whole episode and I'm going to make it. But like, yeah, I mean, the problem there is like, could you make a quantum chip that has a personal identifier that is unique to you, that on an interdimensional scale, no one else is going to copy?
Like, I don't know.
Something like
your DNA is unique. You know?
So but could you really encode a quantum chip with your DNA? I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I think it'd have to be more like your name and birthday.
So, I mean, so here's the thing, right? So if you believe in the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics,
yeah,
there are many copies of you being made every time there's some quantum state that, I guess, is forced into any quantum superposition collapses something. As soon as that happens, then the universe splits into multiple universes. So there's some point where there's a you that is creating this quantum chip. You encode it with your DNA.
Yeah.
And then immediately, or very soon after, there's many copies of you that all have it.
Yeah.
And then what do? You use it.
Then
there's a whole bunch of you.
Then we 51% attack Bitcoin on a multi-dimensional level, and we take all the money, all the universe's money.
Yeah, like how? I guess how would you use that to your advantage? No, but that's one way to potentially check. If many worlds theory is real.
Yeah.
Because if it is, then there are going to be lots of copies of you with the same quantum computer. If you can find a way to bridge the multiverse, and do that.
I got really mixed feelings about multiverse, because it's like the idea that like you, like every possible option of yourself happens, and so like, just simplistically put, like there could be a part of you that's like really evil and a part of you that's like really good on different timelines, and then it's like, whatever comes after life, like how is that determined? It's like it's not the collective. I that doesn't seem fair, because if you messed up in another dimension that has nothing to do with you, so then I'm like, I don't know. It's like kind of like the idea in Marvel. It's like they call it like the sacred timeline.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm like,
good Loki spinoff show.
Yeah, Loki. Yeah, that was really good. You've been watching the show Severance?
Dude, I don't watch anything.
No?
I don't have time.
Man.
I have a kid. I don't have time to do anything.
How old's your kid now, Bobby?
He's 2.5, and he's
How's
the
that?
best. He's the best.
The best? Yeah.
He's literally the best.
That's amazing.
I have no free time.
None?
And I'm here.
Yeah.
So I have something. Yeah, but you have to, plan it. You're like, because last week you texted me like, you want to come over tonight? I was like, I wish, but no, not yet. But yeah, no, he's the best. He's like an absolute dream child. He kind of looks like me, and he's like funny and curious and kind, and he's just awesome. It's cool to watch him learn every day. It's cool to be a part of it. it's cool to, I don't know. It's a lot of responsibility, but
Yeah, you were saying like
grew up fast.
earlier, you can't really go out and do as much as you could back in the day. Do you feel like you kind of like your life switches over to like focusing on them?
Yeah,
and
you just want to make sure that that you're like giving him enough attention and he's like learning enough and you're not spoiling him and you're like not putting the TV on too much. Just all these little things. But
What do you think about screens with kids? Because I've gotten to a point where I'm like, might consider completely screening screens from my kid. That wasn't the best way to put it. I might take away, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like the brain rot is real today with younger kids. And it's just like, take that and AI and put it together. And you're like, no one really cares to think for themselves in the same way. Like,
AI is nuts. And you have to, we live in a digital world with lots of screens, so I think you have to be smart and compassionate in how you, I guess, like introduce that to your kids. I didn't have much of an opinion one way or the other, except like, oh, my kid's never going to watch TV. And like it happens because sometimes like you're the only one home and you have to do the dishes or something. And like, sometimes it has to go on. And I think maybe if Rachel and I were less busy, then the TV wouldn't be on. But, it's like, if it's max an hour a day, that's kind of where we're at, and you just, and you can see it, if you give him too much TV, then he wants the TV or he stops like being as much interested in other things. And then you're like, oh, I got to dial it back. So it's like a back and forth kind of thing, good luck not showing him TV and see how long that lasts.
Really?
Yeah. It's, but it's, you can't just give him a screen all the time, like when he's in the car, I remember like he's in the car and he's bored. And then for a little bit I was like, oh man, like he's bored. Like I wouldn't like give him a phone cause he's bored, but it's like, I would give him books and I would give him toys to play with, to keep his mind occupied. And then I'm just like that. I don't think that's right. I think it's better to just let him be bored. Like I think that's fine. I think it's better for him to try and come to grips with being bored. And then sometimes some really cool thoughts and feelings come out of that. And then you end up being
I don't think anyone wants to let themselves be bored anymore. It just seems like this constant
helps to be bored.
hellish pursuit of evading. It's like the worst feeling you could have these days.
Tiny
in modern day.
stimulation.
Yeah, exactly. I need my dopamine hits.
And they're like,
I need my
so
phone.
Small. They're this big. Like, just get rid of them.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Hard cut again. We had some friends come over, but we're picking up where we left off. You were talking about like screens with the kid. I mean, that's something I worry about. Like I've been, you just
have to manage it. And honestly, I think what's going to happen is by the time that, because like they're already kind of, it seems like a lot of studies around, they're like starting to maybe pin down that like teenage girls are having like suicide rates like 300% more than they did before social media, and just like a million different things that are just all leading to like, like phones are probably bad for like a developing young mind. And and then you just have to
I mean, you've seen a kid with an
best.
iPad, right? Like a kid with an iPad, it's
No,
like
you
I
can't.
feel like they're like on crack, dude. It's like
it's crazy.
It's like an old person at the slot machine. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just, I don't think you can, good luck fully avoiding it, but
because if you do and they get older, it's like, and then other kids are like real savvy with their phones, and then your kid's like,
well, no, I mean, it's
I don't know.
you just have to, savvy with the phone, just learn how to use a keyboard. It's like that being savvy with the phone is easy. It's like, probably before you could talk, he could scroll, like you just give them the phone and they know it's like second.
So babies can figure phone interfaces out before they talk.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's easier to go to look at something and go like this versus like try and formulate a word out of your tongue and vocal cords and all that stuff. Yeah, way easier. But yeah, he'll figure it out. If you need any advice, let me know.
All right. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the problem is going to be figured out before I have a chance to, potentially mess my kid up.
You think, well, I'll just be like telepathic in a certain time frame?
No.
No.
Like I can talk to you without saying anything?
Mm-hmm.
No. Maybe. I mean, honestly, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like what, 100 years ago we couldn't fly? Could we fly? When was the Wright brothers? 1915?
Yeah.
We flew. And then like me, like college dropout, is like designing systems to fuel satellites. Like that's the reality. Like the benchmark is not like that high to I don't know, send shit into space.
You guys work with SpaceX at all?
We will soon. We're breaking ground in Texas.
Okay.
We're a pretty small chemical manufacturing plant just in Hatfield.
Yeah.
But we're breaking ground in Texas. None of this is like proprietary, so it's all like I can say this. But yeah, haven't worked with SpaceX yet. I can't say other companies that we work with space-wise, but we work with a lot of them.
Do you guys work with Nitrous Mafia in Philly?
No.
I'm just playing, man. Yeah. No. What about radon? Is there any usage for that?
It's funny you ask. I don't know. I know that it's like on the periodic table. It's like, I don't know, helium, neon, argon, blah, 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 krypton, xenon. Radon's all the way at the bottom. Yeah. I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. It would probably be like the most bomb space propellant because it's so massive.
Yeah, it's super heavy and cancerous and radioactive.
But like, up there, it might not matter. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's probably too expensive because like when COVID happened, one bottle of xenon was $2.5 million.
What?
Just one bottle. Yeah, so expensive. After the COVID invasion of Ukraine stopped a lot of the xenon production.
How slow is it? Like, if you were to fill like a 2-liter bottle with xenon, like how long are we talking?
So my compressor can do 600 liters an hour. They could probably do more.
Okay.
And it takes one bottle. Like I can fill a bottle in like 13 hours for my distillation column.
Okay, but like the $2.5 million bottles, like you could fill one of those in
like 2 shifts. It's not that expensive anymore. It's like a tenth of the price. But yeah, you have to find it first. That's the problem. So like, how do you find somebody that has crude krypton xenon? That's what I have.
You're pulling it out of the air, or like you're fracking for it.
Yeah, so someone else is pulling it out of the air. So we breathe in 1 part per million krypton.
Yeah,
and 87 parts per billion xenon. Mm-hmm. So anytime that you have like liquid nitrogen or like liquid oxygen is sold to like all the hospitals all over.
Yeah.
They'll sell the liquid oxygen because it's like super dense, and then you put it in a little vaporizer to make it warm and gas form, and then it just gets plumbed in like all over the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to convince those companies that are separating air to keep going and include a little tap for krypton xenon, which is like, so it's hard to find the air separation units that will like give you the crude krypton xenon. But if they give it to me, I can turn it into pure krypton and pure xenon for space propulsion.
Now, is Superman working against you to stop this operation? Because it sounds like amassing
I have so much krypton, I don't know what to do with it.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, people don't want the krypton. They want the xenon. Until it's too expensive.
Yeah, but if we get invaded by the species that Superman is, we're going to need the krypton.
Come find me.
Yeah.
Because I just have...
You're going to be like Lex Luthor up in this bitch.
I could fill this whole room with krypton.
Enough to choke us out?
Asphyxiation, yeah.
Does it sink or float?
I guess it would... I mean, so it sinks, sort of.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, like, unless it's yeah, I mean, for the most part, if you just let some krypton or xenon like out into the air, it wouldn't all go to the bottom.
What is it?
Would like mix.
What's its temperature in Kelvin in liquid form?
Well, I know Celsius. Can I do Celsius?
Yeah.
Celsius. Xenon is like negative 85 C to liquefy.
Okay.
And then xenon's like a little, I don't know, like 65 C or something like that.
Okay, because I know liquid helium is 4 degrees Kelvin.
We do that too.
And then liquid nitrogen is around, I think, 75 degrees Kelvin. And I know like helium expands at a ratio of 763 to 1.
Helium's crazy.
Yeah, helium, like a bottle, just totally displaced the oxygen in this room. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, so anytime you have a liquid, there's like 1,000 of it. Like if you just filled this cup with liquid helium or liquid whatever, and then you turn it into a gas,
yeah,
you would have to take this and then have 1,000 more of them, and that's how much
Yeah.
you have of the gas form, generally. But yeah, that's the other thing I do. I'm the rare gas guy. So like krypton, xenon.
Can I call you that?
Rare gas guy
Yeah, you're the rare gas guy.
for a while.
We got Bobby Patterson, the rare gas guy.
I was
on
also
the Wave
called-
Function podcast.
I was called Helium Bob for a while
Helium
too.
Bob. Why
Yeah,
would
yeah.
you'd be like, hey guys, what's up? It's Helium Bob.
Yeah,
Actually, I got like hold on. I think I got like a voice for that.
Hey, what's up, though?
Hey.
Oh, that's me now.
Yeah, now it's you now.
Yeah, that's me now.
Oh man, yeah. That's cool, dude. Working with rare gases, I feel like
the liquid helium is nuts. It's like, so it comes in these massive vessels.
Yeah.
They are, so you get like, it's like 1 million liter vessel, and then
1 million?
yeah, 1 million liters. Or wait, no, that's not right.
There's no way that's right.
No, 10,000 gallons.
Okay.
So that's like 40,000 liters. Sorry,
Yeah.
I think in something else.
Because I know to superconduct like an MRI with liquid helium, you're looking at like $70,000 in just helium, and so like
Yeah, we do that. We sell it.
10,000 gallons must be like a crazy amount, and helium prices only go up.
Oh, it's crazy. Like we do a lot of moving helium around. So we take the liquid and you have like 1 million standard cubic feet of it, which is like, I don't know how many dewars you could fill. I don't know, like 300, 400 dewars with it.
Do you ever worry about like some like Heisenberg type like Breaking Bad dude busting in and stealing your liquid,
Liquids.
helium? Because it's expensive.
It is expensive, but you have no way of, I guess you would need a trailer
Yeah.
and you'd have to undo the locks or something. I
You
don't
could
know.
probably like accidentally freeze your entire body.
No, so we do, I mean, like we've lost a lot, like if you have too much pressure, then it'll blow a safety.
Okay.
But the problem with liquid helium, well, I guess
Like a quench? So you have like full cylinders quench themselves? And,
No,
like, you
it's-
can't.
It's more like you have this big container.
Yeah.
It's like a trailer full of liquid helium, and it'll, if you just let it be, it'll slowly increase its pressure. And at some point, the vessel can only have so much pressure in it. So there's always pressure relief set at some pressure. And then if you just let it go for too long and you don't decrease the pressure by taking anything out, then it's going to blow. It's like only a matter of time. So that happens sometimes, and then there's no stopping it
Yeah.
because it freezes everything.
Oh yeah.
Like it freezes the oxygen, it freezes the nitrogen, freezes literally anything except for neon. But yeah, and then you just lose it. Then you just lose like $500,000 of helium because they're like,
What do you mean except for neon? Helium doesn't freeze neon?
Neon liquefies at like 30 Kelvin or something.
Okay.
So it doesn't, like it's
Yeah.
it's very hard to
pretty low.
separate the two. It's like, if you want to separate neon and helium, like you're probably going to need like $5 million to do it, to like build something that can do it.
Yeah.
Random chemical engineering thing. But
What's exciting about gas going forward?
It's exciting. So I mean, it's like
Superconduction? I don't know.
no. So what I think the cool thing is, and what is like all of these specialty gases. If we're not selling them, if we're not selling the Krypton xenon, that's like the satellite propulsion space. Most of what we sell is the Intels and the Samsungs of the world for like different parts of etching their chips. Because they'll have all these different like fluorocarbons and different precursors. It's like all these, just the craziest amount of gases that they need to etch like little 5 nanometer wave, 5 nanometer channels and things. And if the gas isn't pure and you accidentally put,
How does so what, they're exciting the gas in these like ultraviolet lithography units?
Yeah, that's like one step of it. I don't know like all of it, but I know that like if we get really good at it, then like I don't know. I personally have like a big thing kind of like against China. Like we're competing against them. Like, do we want them to have all the best chips? If not, then like
take over Taiwan, and with that, Taiwan Semiconductor.
Yeah, but then like where are they going to get all the gases from? Not going to get it from America.
From the gas guy right in front of me.
Yeah, I'm not selling it to China. Screw that.
Bobby Patterson is the lead exporter to China for rare gases.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have and it's funny, like I know people that design systems in China, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Stop sharing how to make these things with them.
Yeah.
No bueno. Should be illegal.
Yeah, well, with today, I mean, I don't know, it might be here soon, We can't have that. We cannot be sharing our argon gas. We make the best helium. Bobby Patterson makes the best helium. China can't have Bobby's helium. It's not going to have it.
They can have TikTok, but they can't have...
They can have TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. I heard Meta's trying to buy it, and so is Mr. Beast. And there was like, I'm like, I don't know.
I think the idea is okay to have less Chinese government software on most Americans' phones.
Yeah.
But just banning TikTok is like scratching the surface. You gotta
I know, like they're putting software in like vacuum cleaners that send back like data that we just like, why does my vacuum cleaner need Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even realize until after I did it, I bought these new wireless earbuds and they're from a Chinese company. I'm like, fuck, they're listening to me. Yeah.
They're probably like sending like 6G brainwaves into your head to program your opinion on the CCP.
Well, they're not doing a very good job.
I mean, we can both, we both already know our phones can read our minds, right?
I did listen to that podcast of yours.
No, I definitely think so, though.
It might be.
I think there's 6G that already exists that is like small enough of a wavelength to get into the cell, but I don't know how penetrating that would be. Like, there's like a fine balance because like the smaller the wavelength, the penetration gets pretty low. And then you have like dielectric effect where like, waves that are sent back will deconstructively, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think that that's a thing. And like either that or like the algorithmic supercomputers are so advanced that they're predicting interactions before we do it. And that's part of the equation. But
see, I think the whole AI thing is crazy. It's so crazy. Like every little bit or every like, I don't know, like couple months, I just like see something new and that AI does. And I'm like,
yeah, dude, you're gonna have like a robot in your kitchen, like making you pancakes within like easily 15 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like that's like to me, like 15 years, like making you pancakes easy.
I just see the way that they're starting to have it think more, and it's just like, I don't know. I'll give you. There's a million examples. I can give you one example with my job. Like I have a controls engineer who like does all my programming for me for like if there's like a certain set point of pressure that goes above this thing, like do this thing. And like I have a guy that writes the code for me because I don't know how to write it. But I can just tell AI to like learn this language and then I tell it in my dummy terms, like I want my things to do these things and like write it, and I'll just write it. And then
we're absolutely obsolete in like 5 years. Yeah. I mean, part of that is like, this is like a very small personal brand for me because like everyone's going to get wiped out to such an extent that like it's hard to talk about. I'm like, I said this,
hard.
I said someone like I was
think
talking to
that's the part
someone 2 years
people don't
ago
realize
about lawyers. You know what I mean? Like, what? And they're like, "Oh, AI can never replace a lawyer." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yes, I can. It's one of the easiest things.
That's
to
like
do,
one of the. You could just feed it every court. You know, the history of every single
and every precedent and
always.
Everything. Yeah,
like it'll
and
be
it can just pull it all, and you know, like it's already good enough to like do PH level math, physics, like better than PhD graduates. So like. People are going to school for 9 years and it can already beat them at doing all these things. You know, it's going to like, you just train it on what like competent people do in the field. And just like, it just watches all of them. It's like, yep, I could do that now.
Well, what is AI going to do for gases? Let's keep you on your feet here, dude. You're the gas guy, right?
You got gas? I got gas.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, what's it gonna do for gas? I don't know. Not much.
So
Not
you're
much for a
gonna keep your
while.
job, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like what I'm doing isn't rocket science. Like I'm adjacent to rocket science. I work with rocket scientists, but it's not like
it's not rocket science, but rocket science uses what I do. So I guess I am a subsection of. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm rocket science. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
So, but yeah, no. For my job, like I guess they could probably pick it up pretty quick. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I should probably think about it more and figure out how AI can like do a bunch of my shit for me.
Yeah.
I just do too many little stupid things. Like, where do you put these things and how do you build it? Like, someone needs to be out in the field figuring that shit out. Someone needs to. I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing anything groundbreaking.
On the next episode, you better know, because if you're gonna come on my podcast and not tell me how AI is going to change the gas game completely, it's unacceptable.
Oh fuck! I'll see you later. I got homework.
Yeah. But yeah, we got some homies that dropped in. If you're cool with wrapping up, and yeah. So thanks for watching the Wave Function podcast, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Justin.
All right. Yeah. Right.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Take care.